What happens when a simple morning show interview turns into a total meltdown on live TV? When a guest's carefully built public image collapses in real time, revealing years of hidden frustration and controversy. Today, we're looking at one of the most shocking moments in morning television, when best-selling author Brandon Lake completely lost control during what was supposed to be a routine book promo on The Today Show. This wasn't just another awkward celebrity moment. This was an all-out explosion that had viewers glued to their screens and social media talking for weeks. Before we get into it, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments what you think really caused Brandon's outburst. Trust me, there's more to this story than meets the eye. The Today Show studio was buzzing as Hoda Kotb prepared for another author interview. Brandon Lake, known for 3 consecutive New York Times bestsellers, was there to discuss his latest novel, a psychological thriller already controversial for its dark themes and explicit content. Nobody expected the real drama to unfold live in Studio 1A. Hoda started the segment warmly. "We're here with best-selling author Brandon Lake, whose new book has everyone talking. Good morning, Brandon. Thanks for joining us." Brandon shifted in his chair, clearly a bit tense. "Thanks for having me, Hoda. I just wonder how this interview is going to go, given some of the things I've been hearing." Hoda blinked. "I'm not sure what you mean. We're just here to talk about your book." "Are we, though?" Brandon's voice had a sharp edge. "I've done about 15 interviews this week, and somehow every one of them turned into questions about my personal life instead of my work." Hoda kept her composure. "Well, when books cover intense psychological themes, people naturally get curious about what inspires you. Your novel deals with trauma, family secrets, and some pretty dark subjects." "Exactly." Brandon leaned forward, gripping the chair. "Everyone wants to analyze the author instead of the work." "My book stands on its own." "Of course," Hoda said. "But you have to admit the parallels between your character's childhood and your own experiences, shared in past interviews, are noticeable." Brandon's jaw tightened. "What parallels exactly? I'm tired of journalists turning my fiction into an autobiography." Hoda tried to steer back. "Your protagonist has abandonment issues and a difficult relationship with authority. In a 2019 interview, you mentioned growing up without your father and struggling with teachers." "That was 5 years ago," Brandon snapped. "I was in therapy then, maybe oversharing. That doesn't mean every character I write is me." The tension grew. "Readers connect with authors who are open about their experiences," Hoda said. "Vulnerable?" Brandon's voice rose. "Feels more like exploitation. Every time I discuss craft, interviewers dig into my childhood as entertainment." "Let's talk about your writing process then," Hoda said. "How do you create these complex psychological profiles?" "Research, imagination, years studying human behavior," Brandon replied tersely. "Not by sharing my personal struggles for public consumption," Hoda pressed. "Most authors use life experiences to make their characters feel real." Brandon stared. "I thought Today's Show might be different. An intelligent conversation about literature. But here, everything becomes trauma porn." The studio went quiet. Hoda tried to salvage the segment. "Brandon, I'm not trying to ignore your work. Your books resonate with readers emotionally. Don't patronize me," Brandon snapped, his composure gone. "You have producer notes guiding which buttons to push, which wounds to poke. This isn't journalism, it's tabloid disguised as literary discussion." Hoda's professionalism faltered. "I'm surprised by your reaction. Most authors appreciate discussing personal experiences shaping their work." Brandon laughed bitterly. "Most authors perform their trauma for entertainment. I'm not doing that. My father leaving when I was 8 doesn't define my writing," Hoda replied firmly. "But you wrote about abandonment, and you've shared about your father before." "Once," Brandon gestured wildly, "and it stuck like a scarlet letter. Every interview comes back to daddy issues." The crew exchanged nervous glances. "Brandon, this is about your book, which touches on family dysfunction and trauma," Hoda said. "It deals with universal themes," Brandon snapped. "Not because I'm airing my demons. Stephen King doesn't write horror because he's insane. Gillian Flynn doesn't write toxic relationships because of her personal life. Dark stories are compelling, not therapy." Hoda agreed, but added, "Readers might naturally wonder about the connection between life and work." "Curiosity?" Brandon leaned back, sarcastic. This is voyeurism. You want me to bleed for cameras. You reduce my work to amateur psychology. The studio was silent, Hoda said. The show connects with guests on a human level. Connecting? Brandon's voice rose. Is that ambushing someone with questions about their trauma? Treating pain as a marketing tool? Hoda tried to reason. You're a public figure who shared details before. This isn't new. The public record? Brandon mocked. You don't understand watching strangers dissect your life online? It's exhausting, Hoda replied gently. But this comes with success. Part of the package? Brandon repeated. My worst moments as collateral damage for book sales? Hear yourself! Hoda's patience thinned. Step back, Brandon. You're being hostile. We invited you to promote your book. Your behavior is unprofessional. Unprofessional, Brandon laughed. Ambushing guests with psychological analysis? Turning literature into therapy for viewers? Hoda fired back. We are not ambushing you. I've done this for 20 years. No author has reacted like this. Brandon stood, pacing like a caged animal. You think it's reasonable to dig into someone's childhood on national TV? To psychoanalyze a stranger based on fiction? Sit down, Brandon, Hoda ordered. I'm standing up against exploitation, he shot back. For myself and every artist turned into a trauma exhibit by journalists who don't read their work. Producers frantically signaled for commercial, but Hoda waved them off. Maybe the problem isn't the questions, she said. Maybe it's your defensiveness. Maybe there's truth in what people see between your life and writing. Brandon stopped, flushed. Did you psychoanalyze me on live TV? Prove my point by doing exactly what I warned against? I'm trying to understand your anger, Hoda said. It seems extreme. Extreme. Brandon's voice rose. I've spent 15 years perfecting my craft. All anyone talks about is my daddy issues. I can't do an interview without being treated like a case study. It reduces everything I've done to amateur psychology. He slammed the armrest. It implies my success is therapy in disguise. That readers connect with my trauma, not my work. Hoda leaned forward. Maybe that's true. Maybe readers see their own pain in your characters. Brandon froze. The studio was silent except for camera hums. How dare you? He whispered. Dismiss 15 years of work? I'm not dismissing it, Hoda said weakly. I'm suggesting you're not separate from your work as you think. The tragedy, Brandon's voice was eerily calm, is you think this helps. But it destroys storytelling. Imagination becomes worthless. Creativity is disguised confession. Fiction becomes therapy. Hoda protested, but Brandon continued. You don't even realize it. You sit in comfort, asking questions that make others uncomfortable, thinking it's journalism. His anger exploded. I've interviewed presidents, Nobel winners. None reacted like you. Maybe they protected their private lives. You're unreasonable. Maybe this outburst is just a publicity stunt for your book. He stood abruptly, chair clattering behind him. A stunt? You think I'd humiliate myself on national TV? Expose my deepest fears for marketing? Are you insane? Hoda tried to calm him. Please sit down. No. Brandon paced, shaking. People like you make it impossible to exist without being dissected. Every book, story, character filtered through my personal life. Writing about love? They assume I'm lonely. Death? Suicidal. Family? Constant scrutiny. Hoda tried to interject. Brandon pointed at her. Even now, still reducing my work to autobiography. Fiction exists. Writers imagine. The studio was chaos. Cameras unsure, producers panicking, crew staring. Hoda shook. Brandon, calm down. We can take a break. Oh, now you want to end it? He laughed hysterically. Now that you got what you wanted, the show your viewers came for? This is what morning TV is. Breaking people for entertainment. Not books. Not creativity. He picked up his book, held it, then gently set it down. This book is about loss of privacy. Living where nothing is sacred. Every struggle is public property. People like you feel entitled to my soul. I wrote this as a warning. And here we are. The studio was silent, cameras still rolling. We'll cut to commercial, Hoda finally said. Good, Brandon replied, removing his microphone. I'm done. What do you think? Was Brandon justified or did he go too far? Was it the questions or something deeper that triggered this meltdown? Comment below and subscribe for more shocking TV breakdowns.